Hey everyone, it's Miss Ashley. As Miss Kate mentioned last week, every Monday we are going to be connecting with you guys and doing some sort of counseling related activity. And this week it's my turn to learn with you guys. And today we are going to talk about thoughts, feelings, and actions. And we're going to kind of go over how they're all connected. So last week you guys chatted with Miss Kate about control and how there are always things that we can control even in tough situations. So the situation that we're kind of all in right now is feeling like we have this loss of control and that we can't go to school and we can't see our friends and some family members, and it seems pretty tough. But as you guys worked through with Miss Kate last week, even though that there are some tough situations, we can still find some sort of control within those situations. So when we go through some tough situations, I want to show you guys how sometimes how we think of the situation, how we feel about the situation can kind of predict an action for the situation. So what I want to kind of throw out there is everyone, no matter what, adults, teens, and children, we all have problems. Some of them are big, some of them are small. Sometimes when we think about perspective, a problem that is small to me can seem big to someone else, or a problem that's big to me can seem small to someone else. But we all go through things and we all have our own fair share of problems. So when we think about that and how we solve our bigger problems, that's typically what we need the help with. We don't always need help with the small problems. Sometimes, but not always. It can be helpful during those big problems to learn how your thoughts, feelings, and actions are connected so we can kind of change our thinking a little bit. So when we think about what are thoughts, what are we meaning by thoughts? We're talking about words that run through your mind. These are things that you tell yourself about something going on, and sometimes you can have multiple thoughts about a single situation. So when we think about not being able to go to school, we can have a lot of different thoughts about that. We can have a lot of different thoughts that are running through our head, and we can tell ourselves about a lot of different things that is going on with not being able to go to school. And then when we think about feelings, I included the feelings wheel so you can kind of think about your feeling words. And those are some things that come and go as different things happen to you, whether it's a big problem or a small problem. You're going to have lots of different feelings. And you can have multiple feelings in one day or even multiple feelings for one event. So you can feel a lot of different emotions with a lot of different events that happen. And then actions are things that you're actually doing or how you're behaving. And it's important to remember that your thoughts and feelings will have a big impact on how you act. And we're going to kind of go over how that works. So an example that I want to go through, I kind of wanted to relate this to some things that I know some of you guys are currently experiencing. And this is the new way of learning. So last week, we got the homework packets sent out, and it's for 2 weeks. So the homework packet that was sent out is supposed to cover a 2-week period, and we got it in one day. And I know a lot of thoughts were, this is too much. I have to do all of this. I don't even know how to do any of this. Lot of negative thinking, a lot of feeling like worried and overwhelmed and concerned and sad and frustrated. And so sometimes when we're having those negative thoughts of thinking it's too much, or you're having to do so much and you don't know how to do it, and you start to have those feelings of being worried about getting it done, about being overwhelmed by how much the caseload is, being concerned about what happens if I don't complete it, or feeling sad, frustrated, or angry, sometimes our actions can cause us to not do anything. It can cause us to have that shutdown, that I'm just going to avoid doing it altogether, because if I ignore it, then it's not there. It's like it didn't happen. So I wanted to kind of go over how your thoughts, these negative thoughts, can kind of promote these negative, icky feelings, and then they can cause us to have actions that we might not particularly want. So what I want to tell you is, just because you have a thought, it doesn't always make it true. So if your thought is, I can't do any of this, your thought is actually a guess about something. So if you get this packet of homework and your thought is, I can't do any of this, I can't get this done in 2 weeks, that's your guess. You have to think about that that's something that you're thinking might happen. We don't know if it will actually happen. That's just what we're guessing will happen. So sometimes when you take a minute to come up with new thoughts, it can help you see your situation a little differently. So we're going to kind of go over creating new thoughts. So if you're having this thought that there's so much in this work packet, I'm not going to be able to get any of it done, I'm feeling so overwhelmed, if we change that thought pattern a little bit to, yeah, there's a lot in this packet. We're going to own that we're feeling that way. We're going to own that there's a lot. We're going to own that we're feeling overwhelmed, but maybe we can do a little at a time. So we can change that thought from there's so much in this packet, I'm not going to do any of it, I can't get it done at all, to there's a lot in this packet, but maybe I can do a little at a time. And then our new feeling that's created is still that overwhelmed piece of having so much to do and having to complete so much, but there's a little bit of hope there that you can finish it a day at a time. So then our new action, instead of avoiding it altogether or shutting down or not wanting to do it, can be following the daily schedule that was created. You know, on Monday, you're going to do this, and on Tuesday, and on Wednesday, and going through, or even you create a daily agenda. So today, on Monday, from 10 to 11, I'm going to chat with Miss Ashley. And then from 11 to noon, I'm going to work on 2 pages of language arts. Another thought is like, I'm not sure how I'm going to do any of this. It's so much. I don't even know if I can do it. I don't know if I learned this material. If we change those negative thoughts to, I'm not sure I know how to do any of this, we're honoring that feeling. We're going to validate that feeling. But maybe some of it is review. So maybe you know a piece of it, or maybe you can ask for help. So we still own that thought of like, I'm not sure I know how to do any of this, but we're creating a new thought of maybe some of it's review, or maybe I can ask for help. So our feeling is still concerned that you might not be able to complete the work, but we can reassure ourselves that we can get help if we need it. So then our new action, instead of, again, not doing any of it, avoiding it, or shutting down our behavior, can be asking your teacher or a caring adult for help with material that you might not understand. So kind of going from having that thought of there's so much in this packet, I'm not going to be able to do any of it, to then feeling worried, overwhelmed, concerned, sad, and frustrated, to then not doing any of it, to changing the thought a little bit to, yeah, there's a lot, but maybe I can break it down and do a little at a time. Or, yeah, there's something that I might not know in this packet, but maybe I know some of it, and maybe I can ask someone for help. We'll still have those feelings that we're a little uncomfortable with, of worried and overwhelmed, but we also create some new feelings of being hopeful and being confident that there are some things that we are able to do. And then our action goes from not doing any of it to working our way through the packet. So again, this was just an example that I wanted to show you about how thoughts, feelings, and actions are all connected. But I want you to really focus on how your thoughts and feelings can have a big impact on how you act. So sometimes it always starts with changing our thought pattern. If we're having this very negative thought, that it's likely we're going to have these negative feelings, and it's likely we're going to have a negative action. But if we honor the piece of having a little negative thought, but changing it to be a little more positive and hopeful by finding what we can control within the thought, then our feelings can be a little uncomfortable but manageable, and our actions become something a little more positive. Or at least there's a plan of an action that will benefit and help us in the end, which is what we're wanting. We're wanting to have a result that is more helpful. So I hope you guys are kind of understanding what I mean when I say thoughts, feelings, and actions kind of have a big impact on each other. I am going to share kind of an empty sheet of this page. So if you have any other problems or things that you want to kind of work out, you just want to put in your new thought, your new feeling, and how it's going to create your new action. And I'll link that so you guys can see that later. But if you guys have any questions or want to know more about how thoughts and feelings and actions are connected, you guys can send me an email. You guys can comment on the video, or you can join mine and Miss Kate's Google Classroom, and we are responding in here if you guys need us. I hope you guys enjoyed your lesson, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Miss you.